Right. Yesterday, Watkins Glen, Shane Van Gisbergen ran down Ty Gibbs by 29 seconds in 18 laps. 29 seconds, that's not racing, that's hunting. The man won his 7th Cup race, led 74 of 100 laps, and reminded every single person in that paddock why he's the most terrifying road course driver this sport has ever produced. But here's the thing that should make you furious. 3 weeks before that, SVG was finishing 36th at Kansas. The week before, 36th at Bristol. The bloke who dominated 5 of 6 road courses last season has been sitting 19th in the standings fighting for scraps on ovals, while Trackhouse Racing has spent the last 18 months rolling out the red carpet for a 19-year-old American kid named Connor Zilisch. So let me ask you straight, is the Supercars king a 3-time champion from down under being left out in the cold by the very team that brought him to America? And is Connor Zilisch the replacement they've already chosen? Stick around because this story is messier than a last lap restart at Talladega. Let's talk about Connor Zilisch, because fair dinkum, the kid's resume reads like someone playing career mode on easy difficulty. Won his Xfinity debut at Watkins Glen, won at Pocono, won at Dover, won at Indianapolis, won 10 races in his 2025 O'Reilly Series season, posted 18 consecutive top 5 finishes, and nearly took the championship as a rookie. Dale Earnhardt Jr. compared him to Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. Justin Marks called him a rare talent. The hype train wasn't just running. It had left the station, smashed through the barrier, and was halfway to the moon. And Trackhouse responded exactly how you'd expect. In August 2025, they announced Zilisch would replace Daniel Suarez in Cup for 2026, not alongside SVG as a support act, not as a third car project, as the centerpiece, the new number 88, the face of the franchise's future. Now, don't get me wrong, the number 97 means something to SVG's family. He ran it in Supercars, but let's not pretend the optics weren't deliberate. Zilisch gets the iconic 88 Dale Jr.'s old number and the full Red Bull marketing machine behind it. SVG gets moved over like a piece of furniture in a spare room. Here's where the narrative splits, though, because while Zilisch was being hailed as NASCAR's next megastar, his actual Cup results in 2026 have been, they've been rough. Through 12 races, he's 33rd in the standings. His average finish is 25.5. He's behind Ty Dillon, behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr. His best Cup finish all season is 14th at COTA. He hasn't led a single lap. Meanwhile, SVG, the guy supposedly being phased out, won the race yesterday, led 74 laps, has a P2 at COTA, a P6 at Echo Park, and has been Trackhouse's clear best performer this season by a country mile. And yet somehow the conversation all off-season was about the kid, not the king. But if you think the resource allocation is just about car numbers and marketing buzz, wait until you see what's been happening behind the pit wall. Let's be real clear about something. I'm not saying Trackhouse is deliberately tanking SVG's car. That would be stupid. And Justin Marks isn't stupid, but there's a pattern here that stinks, and it's worth putting under the microscope. First, the crew chief situation. SVG has Stephen Doran. They built a solid relationship, and Doran's strategy at the Glen yesterday was absolute class. That call to stay out during the debris caution while everyone else pitted, then going long on fresh tires while Gibbs and Zilisch fuel saved themselves into oblivion. Brilliant! But that same crew has been penalized this season. Remember that unapproved adjustment penalty? Doran got ejected. SVG started from the rear with a stop-and-go penalty for a team supposedly committed to getting their international star into the chase. That's an unacceptable operational failure. And here's the deeper issue. Trackhouse expanded to 3 full-time Cup cars for the first time in 2025, adding SVG's entry alongside Suarez and Chastain. That expansion brought growing pains that crushed all 3 cars early last season. SVG was 33rd in points through 11 races in 2025. Now in 2026, The same organization is running 3 cars again, but with a rookie who needs massive engineering support to develop. Where do you think those engineering hours are going? Look at Zilisch's trajectory. He started 25th at COTA and finished 14th. Started 32nd at Darlington and drove to 18th. Started 12th at Texas and finished 16th. The kid is improving, and that improvement doesn't happen in a vacuum. That's engineers, that's simulator time, that's setup data flowing in his direction. Meanwhile, SVG, a proven race winner with 7 Cup victories, has had stretches in 2026 where the 97 car looked like it had no business being on the same track as the leaders. 36th at Las Vegas, 34th at Bristol, 36th at Kansas. 3 finishes in the basement in a 5-race span. The same bloke who won 5 road courses last year suddenly can't crack the top 30 on an oval. Something shifted. And then there's the psychological element. NASCAR as a business wants American heroes. Full stop. The sport's been desperate for a young, marketable, American-born superstar since Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney emerged. Zilisch fits that mold perfectly. 19 years old, photogenic, Red Bull backing compared to Jeff Gordon by Dale Jr. himself. SVG. He's a 36-year-old Kiwi who most casual American fans had never heard of before 2023. The marketing calculus isn't hard to figure out. Justin Marks said it himself when announcing the Zilisch signing. He talked about the ability to deliver in big moments, about the rate of adaptability. Fair enough, but has anyone in that building said the same about SVG lately? The man who won his debut race in Chicago? The man who hit 5 Cup wins faster than anyone since Dan Gurney in 1968? The silence speaks volumes. And if you're an SVG fan watching from Australia or New Zealand, that silence is deafening. I want to talk to the boys and girls down under for a second because I know you're watching and I know you're up at ridiculous hours streaming these races and I know the frustration is real. The sentiment online has been brutal. Fans saying things like, "We gave NASCAR our best driver and they've treated him like a placeholder." Trackhouse used SVG to build their road course program, and now they're handing that knowledge to the American kid. Shane literally told Zilisch's crew how to set up the car for road courses, and this is the thanks he gets? And honestly, some of that anger is justified. SVG came to America and did what nobody thought was possible. He made the Cup playoffs as a road course specialist, won Rookie of the Year, and put Trackhouse on the map internationally. He brought eyeballs from Australia, New Zealand, and the entire Supercars fan base to a sport that desperately needed global attention. But here's the question that keeps me up at night. If Trackhouse ruins this, if SVG's oval development stalls because the resources tilt towards Zilisch, what message does that send to the next international driver thinking about crossing the Pacific? To the next Supercars champion who might fancy a crack at the Cup Series? The message is simple. You're welcome here until we find a local to replace you. That's not a good look for a sport trying to go global. Here's where I land on this. Yesterday changed the conversation. SVG didn't just win at the Glen. He demolished the field. He ran down a 29-second gap like it was nothing. He proved once again that when Shane Van Gisbergen has a car underneath him, there is not a road course racer on this planet who can touch him. 7 wins from 14 road course starts in Cup, a 50% win rate. That is generational. But Trackhouse needs to decide what they are. Are they a team that backs proven winners, or are they a team that chases the next shiny thing? Because right now, SVG signed a multi-year extension last August. He's committed to this project, and he deserves the same energy that Zilisch gets. Not more. The same. Give the 97 team the engineering support it needs on ovals. Stop letting operational mistakes, penalties, botched setups, poor qualifying runs undercut a driver who is clearly elite when the car is right. Connor Zilisch might be the future. He's 19, he's talented, and his struggles this year mirror exactly what SVG went through last year at this stage. But SVG is the present. He's the one winning races right now. And if Trackhouse forgets that if they sacrifice the Kiwi King on the altar of the American Golden Boy, they'll lose more than a driver. They'll lose the credibility that SVG built for them. Should SVG start thinking about 2027 options if things don't improve on ovals? Should Trackhouse be pouring more resources into the 97? And my Aussie and Kiwi viewers, are you still backing Trackhouse, or have they burned the goodwill SVG earned them? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear it, especially from those of you watching at 3 a.m. from Melbourne or Auckland. You've earned the right to be heard on this one. Hit subscribe if you want more honest NASCAR takes without the sugarcoating. I'll see you at the next one.